In this module, you will know something that remained a main concern of feminists since the dawn of this movement in 1960s. And in response to their work on language reform, many things happened, especially in the use of language. This module will introduce this topic, and in the later modules you will have discussion on different aspects of language reform. We started this course with feminist view. I told you the history of this field and said that actually it was feminism which turned into feminist linguistics, and that feminist linguistics then entered the field of sociolinguistics. So the roots of our field of study actually lies in political movement of feminism. And a feminist actually, when they started their movement, they pointed out that actually it is language that creates difference, that produces difference, and it also reinforces, reconstructs, maintains the difference. So language creates the difference and maintains the difference. So all this happens through language. So if we correct language, if we reform language, we can control this gender difference. This was their point of view. And this thing appealed to the linguists, and especially those linguists who are known as feminist linguists. We have studied them in the beginning modules. So now the question before us is, after studying this course, what can we do to reform language so that this difference, if cannot be eliminated totally, can be minimized? Language reform provides us strategies to answer this question. So the answer to this question would come when you will discuss different aspects of this topic. Use of language that negatively presents women and whatever is related with women is called sexism. Okay, why have I defined this term? Because this topic, the central concept of this topic, language reform, is sexism. It is this sexism that we want to reform, that we want to exclude from language, that we want to free language from. That's why I have defined it. Initially, feminists thought that sexism is just an error, a slip of tongue. So if somebody points out that you have done this mistake, so it can be corrected. They took it very light. Some scholars say, gender scholars say, that sexism is part of change. You cannot stop it, you cannot reform it. This is second opinion. But in 70s and 80s, feminists took this issue very seriously. They noted that sexism is not just a slip of tongue, it is more than utterances. They are not just statements. There is some ideology behind these statements. If we correct language, we can correct that ideology. It is a tool in hands of language users for controlling word meaning. Now, the sexism that is the target of language reform. It is a tool of controlling meaning of words in a language. This is another point of view regarding the efforts of feminists to reform language. You already know when we discussed Chomsky, we said that Chomsky gives examples from his own theory of language that whenever I define some term to present my theory, people mistook it. They defined my terms from their own perspective. So he then generalized it. He said that actually we want to define things, states, governments want to define things, cultures want to define things according to their own point of view. So the same is done through language reform. This is one point of view. Sexism injures or hurts women. Why is language reform needed at all? Because it presents women as negative, trivial, unimportant, non-entity in society, inferior to men, powerless, weak, etc. So definitely when you present such views about women, women would feel injured, insulted. That's why sexism is worth studying, worth mending. It has effects on not only on their feelings, but also their position in society, their status in society, and their access to jobs and professions. Okay. We conclude from this introduction of language reform and different points of view regarding the efforts of language reform by feminists that use of language is not just slip of tongue, it is not neutral, it is not innocent, it is political, it is ideological.